Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully, if you're an All Black fan, you stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning and watched this game. And yeah, this is as good as I predicted, as good as we all had hoped for. This was the battle of the 10s. Potentially the best number 10 from the Northern Hemisphere in the form of Finn Russell versus I thought was the best 10 coming out of the Super Rugby. Beauden Barrett for the All Blacks. 2 10s going head to head to see who's the supreme king of the fly halves. And yeah, we got our answer. And unfortunately, to all the All Black fans, Finn Russell really showed why many people consider him to be many people consider that he should have been the starting number 10 for the Lions tour against South Africa a couple of years last year. So yeah, Finn Russell was recalled to the team this week essentially, and Gregor Townsend had to swallow a big pill of pride to put him on the field over his alleged top form fly half in the form of Kinghorn. And and Finn Russell immediately showed just how much better he is for Scotland. Everybody knew, almost everybody had that comfort with Finn Russell on the field, just being able to play around him, being able to just work with him, much better than Kinghorn altogether. So in terms of the overall comparison between the 2 10s, I was actually surprised how much better Finn Russell actually is against Beauden. Because Beauden, maybe the fact that Beauden hasn't played at 10 for quite a long time now, he looked really rusty this game. So Finn Russell really made Beauden look bad. Like really like a huge step above Beauden. Finn Russell looked calmer on the field. He had better ball carries. He had much more clinical and accurate kicking. He had more involvement, being able to direct the players around him much more comfortably. And he almost seems like he knew exactly what needed to be done at any given point. Like he just knows there's a penalty advantage. He knows how to execute that penalty advantage. If there is if there's a bit of a kicking game going on, he knows exactly where to put the kick. Whereas Beauden Barrett is kind of like playing catch up the whole game. He's almost trying to figure out what to do live on the field. Like, oh, am I supposed to kick this? Am I supposed to run this? He slipped a few times in running, and he was trying to do these crossfield kicks to Caleb Clark's a few times where he just overcooked it straight out, went straight out. There was a number of times, there was so many stupid kicking as well from Beauden, where he just puts a board up, and then you just go, and he just almost looked like he either didn't communicate with his team, or it's almost like he overcooked it, but the pressure from his kicking from his high balls was just not there. And it was almost like taking a page out of Springboks as well. I was like, and this is not the Springboks 2022, this is almost like, he almost looked like he was playing the Springbok strategy from 2021. Because he was literally kicking the ball from outside of the opposition 22 into the Scottish 22. So instead of just attacking, he just kicks the ball away with no penalty advantage. He just pops it over and see what happens. And then I was actually really baffled when I saw this from Beauden. I thought, is he seriously just copying the Springbok strategy from last year that many people criticized to be bad kicking? Kicking the ball from outside the 22 into the 22. What are you even going to get out of it, right? You're just kicking the territory away. So he did some of that, which was baffling. And then and there was also a thing where it looked like David Havili was kind of, normally plays a bit of a second 5A role, but they've also clearly have Jordie Barrett play a second 5A role on the field. So they technically have 3 sort of playmakers on the field for the All Blacks. So especially Jordie Barrett was literally taking over a lot of the attacking directions from Beauden. So Jordie Barrett was almost like the 10 on the field, to be really honest with you. The one crossfield kick that actually led to a try was by Jordie Barrett, believe it or not. And then it was pinpoint accurate straight to Mark Talea, perfectly placed in the goal area, try time. And it was just bizarre, and then also Jordie Barrett was doing a lot of this, was doing a lot of tactical kicking as well. It was almost like the 10s, the two brothers were clashing with each other a little bit, so fighting for that almost fly half position. And even though Jordy Barrett is supposed to be at 15th spot, and David Havili also is like technically like a playmaker, like kicking what do you call him? One of those kicking game player as well. So there was quite a bit of clashing on the All Black side, which led to a lot of rust, I think, for the most part of the game. Overall, the Scottish side clearly, so let's look at the positive of the Scottish side first, right? Scotland came out a little bit like flat-footed, kind of caught off guard, maybe a little bit intimidated, but Haka maybe was just got blown away by the All Blacks at the beginning of the game, and it was looking like this could just be a one-sided affair. And then Scotland got into their rhythm. Finn Russell took control of the game. Stuart Hogg, spectacular. Again, his kicking game was just perfect all game. And then you had Van der Merwe finally stepping up to something that everybody expected him to be. He finally did the work rate that we all wanted to see, that we all know he can do. He did a lot of carries. He was spectacular under the high ball. He was just crashing through defenders left and right. Absolute powerhouse like we all wanted to see. Graham, what is his name? Darcy Graham was pretty much provided the opposite of the agility, the speed, and the just the more agile style of winger that it kind of like in contrast to Van der Merwe, which worked out really well for Scotland as well. So they had these two weapons on the wings, just absolutely annihilating the All Blacks backline, which was beautiful to see. And also the forwards from the Scottish team worked really hard at the breakdowns, just really causing a lot of issues for the All Blacks throughout the game as well. The issues that has the Scottish team was a few things. One, the more defense was pretty poor. The scrummaging was okay at best. Looked shaky, especially in the second half. And also the Scottish reserves was just like a tier below the All Blacks reserves. So the All Blacks reserves came on. They played much better than the starting team, to be honest. So the Scottish team reserves came on, and they just clearly, you can see the Scottish team just took a massive dive in terms of performance, whereas the All Blacks reserves came in and gave the All Blacks that boost that they were looking for to finish off the game. For the All Blacks, there's the loose forwards, Pavali and Adi Savia was spectacular, especially early in the game when his team, the rest of the team wasn't really performing. The two players still did their jobs and did quite well. There was way too many penalties given away by the All Blacks, whether it be at the breakdown, whether it's forced penalties at the breakdowns, or just silly penalties being offside and that sort of stuff. Just a bit too much for the All Blacks, to be frank, and really allowing the Scottish team to get out of jail a lot of the times and piggybacking a lot of those penalties into positions. And finally, I think, some of the Scottish, like Ollie mentioned this one, the All Blacks reserves was just spectacular. I thought TJ Perenara should be the starting number 10 for the All Blacks. He came onto the field, the breakdown speed was much faster, basically allowing the All Blacks crash balls, something that they, copying from the Springboks, much more effective just for having that quick breakdowns. And the All Blacks literally for the last 15 minutes or so were just basically crash balls. But because of the fast breakdown that TJ Perenara was bringing to the team, the All Blacks just, every time they crashed the ball, 5 minutes gain, they were literally just holding onto the ball and moving the ball from 50-meter line all the way to scoring a try. Just so impressive, broken play for 50 meters and scoring. It's just, spectacular. And that all comes back to the fast breakdown that TJ Perenara was able to bring when he came to the field. So I was really impressed by that. I thought, he's been dropped from the team, and just this is the first game he's back for the All Blacks this year. He looks so, actually, did he play earlier this year? But he looked really, really spectacular for the All Blacks this game. Some of the Scottish players coming off the bench, I thought Villanelle got dominated in the scrummaging. I don't know. Maybe it's time for him to have a look at. I don't know. I don't really like to calling people to retire, but I thought maybe Scotland needs to consider maybe another option for that spot. But he just did not look like. He coming off the bench fresh. He already looked like. He was a couple steps behind on the field. The urgency in defense for the Scottish reserves was not there, basically allowing the All Blacks to just keep going forward, not really fronting up the tackles, allowing the All Blacks to get advantage of that again and again and again. So let's quickly have a look at the stats for this game. Believe it or not, at halftime, the run meters were identical. So 185 to 185 run meters for both teams. And at full times, the All Blacks were really able to pull away in the second half. 487 run meters to Scotland's 385. I felt like at halftime, there was some potential upset to be making. Scotland was leading by 3 points, 17 points to, I think it was 17 points to 14. But Scotland was leading at halftime by 3. Yeah, 17 points, 14 at halftime. There was 14 defenders beaten by Scotland at halftime. As you can see, Scotland actually beaten more defenders than the New Zealanders. 28 defenders beaten than over 22 for the Kiwis. Turnovers conceded as well. Scotland conceded 8 turnovers only, and the All Blacks conceded 13. Another stat that the coaching staff will have to look at for the All Blacks. Tackles made. This is a pretty bad tackle for both, for the All Blacks. It's okay for Scotland because they actually made more tackles, but this is a really bad stat. This is almost, close to that 25% mark missed tackle count. That is really high for international test rugby. When you're making only 112 tackles, you want your tackle count to be like 10%, so like maybe 15 missed tackles maximum, around there. Like that's already like 15 is already like, the limit. 28 is way too high for missed tackles, so that is not really good for the All Blacks. Scotland, 22 missed tackles out of 151. Overall, a much better percentage for Scotland. The kicks in play, like I mentioned, 26-25. Scotland actually controlled the kicking a lot better, a lot more accurate. At halftime, Scotland had 9 kicks and All Blacks had 7 kicks. And a lot of the All Blacks kicking were, like I said, overcooked kick by Beauden Barrett. When there was nothing on, they're just like, yeah, let's put a kick up and see what happens. Exactly what the Springboks used to do last year. So that's something that the coaches definitely need to look at. In terms of lineouts, pretty even overall. I thought the All Blacks lineouts were executed quite well this week. There was no, Cody Taylor didn't throw any, lineouts that's not straight, which is really, really positive improvement from his personal. And he also came onto the field and made an impact for the All Blacks team. So that was really impressive to see Cody Taylor coming off, making that impact. There was one lineout loss early in the game where Scotland was able to disrupt a lineout, which was really good. But outside of that, both teams' lineouts were pretty good. I thought the Scottish lineout was looked a little bit more polished than the All Blacks overall. The All Blacks lineouts at the times look a little bit clunky. Outside of that, the Maul definitely played to the advantage of the All Blacks. Credit has to go to, every time the All Blacks did a Maul, the Scottish team just went back 5-10 meters just to stop the Maul. But usually these Mauls are too far away to score a try. But yeah, I thought the All Blacks maybe has to find a way to get themselves in the range for those Mauls to convert into points. But overall, it was definitely the All Blacks' advantage there. Scrums, like I said, pretty even overall. Second half, I thought the reserves wasn't that great for the Scottish team. There was a yellow card in second half as well, so that did play a little bit of an issue for the Scottish side, having one player missing. But still, I thought it did not look even close for Scotland. There was a tight head loss in the second half. Penalties conceded, 13 for both teams. This was a lot worse for the All Blacks in the first half. The All Blacks conceded 8 penalties in the first half. Only 4 conceded for Scotland, so Scotland kind of reversed the penalty count in the second half. 1 yellow card for both sides. The All Blacks had a yellow card. The Scottish team had a yellow. The All Blacks had a yellow card for a penalty try where Stuart Hogg got tackled without the ball as he's going for a try. And the yellow card against Scotland was what happened with the Scotland yellow card? Deliberate knock on. Yeah, deliberate knock on 5 minutes from the Scottish try line. So that was definitely a yellow card. So let's quickly recap the game and go through some of the key points from the game. Right away, the All Blacks came out and just absolutely on fire. And it was looking like it was just going to be a blowout for the All Blacks. 2 minutes into the game, the All Blacks gets a penalty. They kick the ball off a 5-meter line out. More advantage, immediately showing that power from the Maul. Pick and go. Takiyaho the powerhouse. We've seen him do this again and again. That leg drive, a couple minutes short, is just way too strong. Like, I don't know how much this guy squat. If someone can give me some stats on how much, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy can squat like, 400 kilos or something ridiculous, like, or, deadlift like 600 kilos. Like, this guy's leg drive was just insane. Like, Johnny, what is it? Not Johnny Gray. His brother was like trying to tackle him. He just powered straight through. Two more players latched on. He still went over for a try. It was just insane. And he does this to every team in the world as well. Absolutely spectacular. So All Blacks immediately up 7-0. And then a few minutes later, All Blacks was able to put themselves in another position to score tries. There was a nice little kick behind from Beauden Barrett, a little grabber kick behind from Beauden Barrett to Anton Brown, who linked up with Caleb Clark, who runs down the sideline. He gets tackled a bit short. Penalty advantage for the All Blacks. I think it was for offside. Surprisingly, Jordie Barrett gets the ball. Crossfield kick, perfectly placed in goal. Mark Talea, first debut for the All Blacks. He did not drop the ball like he normally does for the Blues, which was really good. He catches the ball. Try time for the All Blacks. Immediately, the All Blacks are 14 points to nil, only 6 minutes into the game. And at this point, I thought, this was going to be a blowout. I was a little bit disappointed. But sure enough, the Scottish team fought back. 11th minute into the game, Finn Russell threw this really beautiful inside ball to Stuart Hogg, who runs through this nice little gap, punches through a little gap, and then he kicks the ball down the behind. And man, Stuart Hogg is fast. He completely outran Anton Brown and Jordie Barrett, and he just completely bolts through, and he looked like he was about to get that for a try. Anton Brown tackles from behind without a ball. Yellow card, penalty try. Scotland gets back on the ball, 7 points to 14. 13th minute, Beauden Barrett did the thing where I was talking about. He kicked the ball from outside of the Scottish 22 into the Scottish 22. Nobody was chasing. I literally wrote here, WTF is this? Someone please tell me if Beauden Barrett has been talking to Rassie Erasmus, because that is a page out of the Springboks from 2021. Anyway, on the 14th minute, the what do you call it? The All Blacks actually made a nice little turnover here by Papali'i on the 14th minute. Papali'i. So the All Blacks quickly switch themselves into attack. David Havili gets the ball center field. He had a pretty poor game, actually. I thought David Havili, he really didn't do much. Had the ball at center field. He was running, and he did this really poor pass. Like, it was so telegraphed. And then he gets intercepted by Darcy Graham. Just bolts down the field. Caleb Clark misses the tackle from behind. He was, he was a bit too slow. Jordie Barrett comes up, and I was surprised by that. Jordie Barrett misses a tackle on him. I don't think I've ever seen Jordie Barrett miss a tackle like this. But anyway, Jordie Barrett misses a tackle. Darcy Graham runs in. Second try for the Scottish team. 14 points to 14. Only 15 minutes into the game, 4 tries were scored in 15 minutes. Okay, this was insane game. Insane. On the 17th minute, Stuart Hogg, what do you call it? Yeah, there was some really nice kicking game from Stuart Hogg, and he was able to tackle Jordie Barrett inside the All Blacks 22. The Scotland had an opportunity following this on the 19th minute where they had a nice little line out where they set up Tuipulotu to crash center field. They got really, really, really close, like literally 1 meter short. It looked like Scotland was going to score. Jamie Ritchie did a double, like rolled on the ground, a meter short from the try line. Penalty. Yeah, a few times Scotland got turned over this game, like just literally a meter short from the try line. Was really, really, disappointing on the breakdown security. Some of the security for the Scottish fans, I would say. On the 20th minute, the All Blacks gets penalised for an offside. I guess accidental offside, or shepherding of their own maul. So their maul got detached and their own players ran into each other. So that was a bit, uncharacteristic mistake from the All Blacks. And then on the 29th minute, Darcy Graham looked like he got a second try. So basically, Scotland was doing some really nice attacks, utilizing both sides of the full width of the field from both sides. They spread to one side, spread back to the other side. Darcy Graham, Stuart Hogg gets the ball already close to the sideline. He draws the last defender, little pop to Darcy Graham, who's tiptoeing on the sideline. He jumps over, dunks the ball into the corner. It looked like he scored. TMO review. As he jumped, his toe literally touched the line. No try. This was a beautiful finish. Otherwise, if that had been just like an inch more space for him, so that was a really nice play. So the Scotland following this gets another penalty. They go for another 5-meter line out, going for a maul, and then the All Blacks gets penalised for entry from the side. Few crash balls later, Scotland was not able to score, but eventually decides to go back to take the penalty for 3 points. So Scotland 17 points to 14, going into half time. So for the last 10 minutes or so, the All Blacks the All Blacks had an opportunity on the 36th minute where they were working themselves into the Scotland 22. They got really close, 5 minutes short, and Finlay Christie gets knocks on the ball. So that was really disappointing for the All Blacks to try to finish the first half hard. Finish first half with some points. Just before the half time, the Scottish team has one last chance to go a try against the All Blacks. They were really, really good, putting pressure inside the All Blacks 22. Van der Merwe almost got through a few times. Just huge powerhouse play. Just big leg, he was like a meter short, got tackled. And then the Scottish team just piled on the drive, the pick and go. And then a few phases later, they get caught not releasing at the breakdown. Missed opportunity just before halftime there. So second half starts. I kind of knew that Scotland, despite winning the first half, will come out harder at the beginning of the second half, which is exactly what they did. So immediately 2 minutes into the second half, some really good hard running again from Van der Merwe, just absolutely carving up the All Blacks a little bit. All Blacks gets caught basically running backwards, offside, and Scotland pressured the All Blacks a little bit and decided to take the 3 points, tick the scoreboard up to 20 points to 14. One of the things I'm starting to notice with the two teams kicking game at this point is that the All Blacks, whenever they get the ball, they tend to just kick the ball down the field as far as they could kick it. Whereas the Scottish kicking game is a lot more clinical in terms of they want the ball to bounce. You can clearly see the Scottish kicks. They're not trying to kick it as fast as they can. They're just trying to kick it into a spot where the ball will bounce. And just by the ball bouncing creates a lot of pressure and opportunity for the All Blacks to make a mistake. So that's a big little difference, very subtle detail that is different between the two kicking styles, and it really looks like the All Blacks were struggling because of the bounce that the Scottish team was able to consistently find. On the 47th minute, the Scotland had a 22-meter line out. They had Tuipulotu once again crashing down center field, and it looked like Stuart Hogg is through. He was he basically found space, like they just quickly screwed out wide. Stuart Hogg was on the wing essentially, looked like he was through. He got tackled short. I thought for sure he could have reached out, but no, he didn't reach out. He turns around, passes the ball to one of his teammates, tried to crash through again, and the All Blacks gets the turnover again, a meter short from the try line. Man, this was so close. And also around this point, both teams' kicking game is starting to show that the All Blacks really don't. I was surprised that the All Blacks. I'm not sure if this was a planned move, but it seems that the All Blacks were kicking the ball a lot to Van der Merwe, who is like the best guy in the Scottish team under the high ball, and also the most dangerous in counter-attacking. So maybe they think that Van der Merwe don't have a good kicking game or something. They just keep kicking the ball to him, and Van der Merwe just keeps running back and, making some really big line breaks, making quite a bit of doing quite a bit of damage with the running game. So yeah, that was an interesting thing I've noticed. On the 52 minutes mark, the All Blacks, the Scottish team had a scrum right in front of the All Blacks goalpost, like 22 minutes out. All Blacks gets penalised for an early push, so this was a bit of a yikes moment. Scottish team gets another 3 points on the board, 23 points to 14. After this, on 55 minutes in the game, Beauden Barrett tries a crossfield kick again to Caleb Clark, overcooks it. The 56th minute in the game, the All Blacks gets penalised for collapsing the maul. The Scotland pressures this advantage to, what happened here? Yeah, All Blacks gets penalised for the maul, and it was starting to look like, so this was really far away from this was inside Scottish half. So it was starting to look like the All Blacks was losing control a bit. It's at this point, the All Blacks starts to bring on their reserves. The front rowers get subbed on. TJ Perenara comes on. And immediately, the All Blacks look a lot better for the last 20 minutes. So 60 minutes in the game, All Blacks gets a scrum penalty inside the Scottish 22. Beauden Barrett again gets the ball. There was space wide open. So All Blacks get scrum penalty. They crash the ball a few times in, draw the defenders in. Executed perfectly by the 4-pack. Beauden Barrett gets the ball, sees open space out wide, tries another crossfield kick to Caleb Clark, overcooked it again straight out, and this was an easy try for Clarks. If this had just been like a little bit better, like, you know, if Jordie Barrow was taking this one, would have just another try for the All Blacks. But yeah, that didn't go well. All Blacks opts to go back for the penalty, kicks 3 points, 23 points to 17. At this point, you started to notice that TJ Perenara is making the breakdown much faster for the All Blacks. And the All Blacks just starts to roll. No more like stupid kicking from Beauden. They just hands on ball, crash balls, short passes, switching around. And the All Blacks were just basically moving the ball from halfway all the way into the Scottish 5-meter line and just starting to threatening to score tries again. So All Blacks was pounding the Scottish try line on the 64th minute. Jack Dempsey, deliberate knock on, gets a yellow card, and suddenly the Scottish team is in big trouble with a player missing. 66 minutes on the ball, on the clock. The All Blacks sets up for a scrum following this yellow card. What is his name? Adi Savia kind of peels off, passes to I think it might be Jordie Barrow or something. Basically, simple stuff. Crash ball, bit short, and then Scotty Barrett pick and go with a bit of help from Sammy Wylock, goes straight in. Suddenly the All Blacks are ahead 24 points to 23. With the yellow card still ticking away, Scotland is looking very dangerous right now. And the Scottish reserves came on and just really didn't look like it was the same level as the All Blacks reserves at this point. 75 minutes into the game, another really nice run, another series of nice crash runs from the All Blacks. Just really fast breakdown, really good ball security. Riku Ioane gets the ball, found himself in this nice angle, just cut back on field. When the All Blacks are inside the Scottish 22, he just ran this nice angle in field, and then he makes a half break, makes the offload to Leia, who was on the wing. He gets the ball, pops the ball down into the corner, try time. Jordie Barrett pops this one in from the sideline, 23 points to 31. With about 5 minutes left, Scottish team has to score a try and an extra, scores twice essentially to win the game. This is looking, this was really dire. And sure enough, with 5 minutes to go left, Scotland was not able to do it. There was a bit of an incident. It looked like Darcy Graham was tripped without the ball, but the referee did not entertain that. On the 78th minute, the Scottish team was attacking, and breakdowns. The All Blacks really tightened up in the breakdowns in the last 20 minutes as well. Gets the turnover, and that was pretty much it for the All Blacks. So this was a really strong finish for the All Blacks team. Some of the players coming off the bench really showed like a lot more, showed a lot of guts and determination to win the game, which was really positive. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, guys, this game. I thought that was really entertaining. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys on Tuesday for the news and the previews next week for the games next week on Friday. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.